Hey guys, if you're enjoying the content that I'm making, please click that subscribe button. Also remember to click that bell button and make sure to tick that box to send all notifications so you don't miss out on any videos. With that in mind, let's get on with the video. What's up guys, welcome to Munchkins Gaming, where we take your gaming to the next level. This is Munchkins logging in to bring you another Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia video. And welcome to my video guide on the EX and the Cosmos fight for Porom's event, A Reliable White Mage. Now, as always, the first video that you are going to be seeing, which is right now, is the EX fight, and once that is finished, it will transition to the Cosmos fight. And so without further ado, let's start this video. Now, as always, once again, we start off with the weaknesses, the resistances, and the abilities of the last boss, which is the Hallow Rider. Now, it only has one weakness, which is the ice element, and it doesn't have any resistances at all. Now, it has its brave attack, which is a melee brave attack, hard lance, which is its melee HP attack, group death, which is a group magic brave attack, and also has a low chance of inflicting break regardless of your brave. Next, it has drain, which is recovers itself from its break and then does an magic HP attack, and then of course restores its HP. Next is solid break, which is a group melee brave attack, which also inflicts a max HP down debuff. Next, it has clinging nightmare, which for whatever reason it says changes own brave. I don't know if this is a typo, but this is both in the Dissidia DB and also in game. It says changes own brave, which I think they meant charges own brave. I'm not really sure how this really works, but essentially it is a group magic HP attack and restores its party's HP and then grants itself enfeeblement up. Next up, it has Sting Heart, which is a melee brave attack, which again inflicts a max HP down. Next, it has Share Burst, which increases its brave when its brave is less than its initial brave. It will then absorb allies' brave and will do a group magic brave attack. Next is Absolute Pain, which it again recovers itself from its break and it does a magic brave attack plus HP attack. And finally, it has Rule of Ruin, which raises its attack, defense, initial brave, max brave, and its speed. Now, from experience, I feel like this only applies to the last Hallow Rider, so I'm not 100% sure. It could be just the last Hallow Rider that will actually use this. I haven't experienced where both Hallow Rider will actually use Rule of Ruin. It could be some sort of enrage mechanic. Now, one last thing is the Hallow Riders has a low resistance to the Confuse debuff and is immune to max brave down debuff. Okay, so now that we know the weaknesses, resistances, and the abilities of the Hallow Rider, it's time to take a look at some general tips and guide. Now, the first one is to save about 60 to 70% of your abilities. Now, this really applies to the Cosmos fight more than anything else. However, if you are a new player and you're still struggling with the EX fight, this will apply to you as well. But for the veterans out there, this is more for the Cosmos fight for you. Now, the next one is to bring in the boosted characters such as Porom, Palom, Yang, and Alice. Honestly, Yang is probably not the best choice out there. I'm sure there are a lot more, and these are the characters that you may want to consider other than Yang, which are the Warrior of Light, Cloud, Furion, Onion Knight, Zack, Agrias, Bartz, Sarah, Sephiroth, Freya, Vayne, Lael, Squall, Lightning, Renoa, Rydia, Shantoto, Fran, Ash, Jet, or Golbez. Now as for the healers plus Brave Battery options, there's Rem, Selfie, Maria, Eiko, Lena, or Kate Sith. And I feel like Lena is probably the best choice here out of everyone else. And I want to say even better than Porom, but at this point I think Lena is still the queen of support character, not the friend support but an actual support base character. As for the summon, you can just bring Ifrit or Shiva. Shiva will take advantage of the ice element weakness of the Hallow Rider. Okay, so now let's take a look at some general tips for the actual fight itself. Now the first one, of course, we're going to talk about the support that you can bring, which is either going to be Quistis and Renoa for me. You can also bring Squall. Honestly, any other splash damager, if you are planning to not bring one yourself, is really great for those early stages, or if you want to save them later for the actual last boss. Seeing as there will be 2 of them in the EX fight and there will be 3 of them on the Cosmos fight, and all of them have a good amount of HP as well, so you can definitely save your support like Squall or the twins that can actually work here as well, and save them for the last boss and do the 100% splash damage as much as you can on all 3 of them. Which now brings me to the second tip, which is basically splash damage is really helpful in this fight, but it's not necessary. You can just take them down one by one, and that is basically my third tip for you guys, is you can concentrate on killing the bosses one at a time. However, keep in mind that the last one remaining, again, this is just from my own experience, will be the one to use the Rule of Ruin. So if you're planning on bringing a Quistis support, you can probably bring it out during the last, when you're only fighting the last boss, or the last of the last boss, if that makes any sense. So you can just push that boss all the way to the end of the turn count, and then you can just kill it then and there. Now the last one I have here for you guys is, honestly, bring Lena. This is just to avoid those max HP down debuff, which essentially can kill you if you're bringing a non-synergy character and they don't have a high amount of HP to begin with, aka Renoa, who tends to lower her own HP. If you don't have Porom to reduce the amount of HP damage that is incoming, Lena is there to make sure your max HP doesn't go down and can heal you through those damages. Okay, so now let's take a look at some possible party compositions now that we have gotten the general tips out of the way. The first one I have for you here is going to be Porom, Palom, and Alize. As you guys may notice, I didn't add Yang at all because I feel like, yeah, he's not that great and he will probably bring you down more than he will bring you up. And now this is with a Quistis support. Again, the support for this time around are interchangeable depending on who you want. If you want more damage, then you obviously want to go for the twins or for Squall and use them during your summon, and you know, you can blitz through the boss that way. Just be careful though, if you are fighting the Cosmos stage, even though you're dishing out all this HP damage, they still have a ton of HP, so just be careful. The summon for this one is going to be Ifrit and Shiva. Again, it's interchangeable depending on who you want. Now the next one I have for you guys here is what you guys are seeing right now is the Warrior of Light, Lena, and Alize composition with a Renoa support. Now what I did here with Renoa is actually waited till I killed 2 of the Hallow Riders, and when there was finally only 1 of them, that's when I switched out to Renoa so she can deal I guess maximum damage with her EX. I actually didn't need to get her out, but I guess if I had another choice, like if I did the rerun of the fight, I would have probably put her out a little bit earlier and probably did this as much splash damage as I can. The only reason why I didn't do that is because one of the Hallow Riders was already in all attack, and I was afraid that if my Rinoa was in the lower side of her HP, then she would probably die, and that would be like, you know, lowering my entire score. So I didn't really take that chance. Now again, for the summon, it's either Ifrit or Shiva. I chose to put Shiva in just to take advantage of the ice element weakness of the boss, but Ifrit is still viable. Now the next team I have for you guys here is the Warrior of Light, Lael and Vayne. Now this one is kind of interesting. Now the reason why I put Wall here for basically most of, I mean, you know, Wall is kind of like a monster right now, so I wouldn't really say Wall is interchangeable in this composition. Normally I would say you can bring Zac along. While Zac is still a very good tank, I feel like you need to combo Zac with someone like Lena, or of course Porom as well, because he doesn't really heal the entire party, whereas the Warrior of Light does. So even without an actual healer, the Warrior of Light can still sort of heal you through the HP damage, and you know, eventually you'll heal through everything and you should be fine. So in this particular composition, it's kind of like the same as my second one, but this time around is more offensive orientated with Lael, and of course launching the boss will make sure that they die fairly quickly. Now for the support here, I have put Squall in, but again, it is interchangeable. You probably want to put the twins here and probably do a decent more amount damage, but I guess you pick one that has the highest max brave, I suppose. Squall can do fairly well with his Renzo Kukin. Now for the final one I have here for you guys is Sarah, Alice, and Vayne with the twin support, and basically this is a really offensive party composition. Both Alice and Vayne are turn manipulation, turn shenanigans, so ideally none of the bosses will actually make a move, or if they actually make a move, the one that has the all attack doesn't make a move and therefore will die before it actually does any all attack, and therefore you repeat the same process all over again. Now for the support, I put the twins here, but again it's interchangeable, and for the summon it's either Ifrit or Shiva again. Okay guys, so we are almost at the end of this video, and of course I will give you guys my final thoughts on this fight. Now in all honesty, from my experience, this has not been one of the difficult Cosmos fights that we have had. I would say a little bit harder than the Atlas Cosmos, because the Atlas Cosmos was basically just the Atlas boss itself. This is obviously a little bit more difficult than that. There are 3 Hallow Riders. They do have a ton of HP, and with the ability to inflict and max HP down debuff, plus their all attacks are, it's pretty strong, and they actually do quite a lot of HP damage, especially when they do the Clinging Nightmare. It's basically like 5,000 plus HP damage on each one of your party members, so they do quite a ton of damage, especially if for whatever reason you get some bad luck and two of them ended up using Clinging Nightmare back to back, it's pretty much lights out. But in saying that, it didn't happen to me, and I felt like this fight was just it was slow. It was definitely a long fight, but I wouldn't say it was a hard fight. I had time to recover. Both my Warrior of Light and my Lena managed to heal me through the HP damage that I received, and I must say I didn't have, I guess overall I didn't have that feeling where I was in danger at all. Now obviously this was made easier because I both had the Warrior of Light and Lena as well. But I must say, even if you don't have any of these characters, if you have Alice and Vayne or even Renoa to a certain extent, you can still pretty much do a decent amount of damage on them and ended up clearing this fight. Now you will need a healer or even Porom to reduce the max HP damage that you will receive, but I think even like someone like Selfie or someone like Eiko and even Rem, if you, because Rem does a ton of bulk healing, even though it's single target healing. Her, if you have her EX, she can actually heal everyone. Not that it heals a lot, but if you can to a certain extent heal yourself, then you should be fine in this fight. Even the Paladin Cecil can heal you through this one, and his one is much easier accessible and much accessible than the Warrior of Light's healing. So you can definitely do something here, change your party up, and you shouldn't have much trouble if you have a variety of characters that you can choose. But you just have to remember, either you're healing through the HP damage or you're reducing the HP damage dealt to you with either Warrior of Light with his Brave Shield, or of course the character that is being pushed in your face, which is Porom in this case. Anyway guys, I think I will end the video right here. Please remember to click like and subscribe because that really helps this channel out. My channel is a very small channel and I hope that it gets bigger and hopefully inform the DFFOO community about the good things, hopefully the good things that I do here in this channel, just to try and help out the community on how to clear certain fights. For the most parts, I know I get a lot more views if there's a actual hard fight. I just noticed that if it's like an easy fight like the Atlas, not a lot of people actually go through that. But if you are still watching my video even though you already cleared the fight, that really helps me out. And if you click that like button, you help me out even more. Now the other thing is to make sure to follow me on Twitter and on Facebook at Munchkins Gaming. This is Munchkins logging off, and I'll see you guys in the next level.